Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here once again, and I am here to technically do another Marco Dishes Out on Life episode. Let me talk about this show for a second because I know you guys are probably really confused since this will be on Safi and Marco, the channel. This is sort of an announcement video and a mini Halloween video talking about my favorite Halloween, my least favorite Halloween, my thoughts on the holiday in general, and talking about the plans for November and all the movies and things that I'll be reviewing. I will be returning to doing Marco Dishes Out on Life on that channel. This is just a temporary thing, so that's something. If you guys aren't subscribed to that channel, go ahead and go over there and subscribe so that you can see all those new videos pop up when they do. It's really funny because I started out doing Marco Dishes Out on Life. I'll explain to you guys why. I really wanted to do videos that weren't related to movie reviewing. I really wanted to do videos just about random topics, like favorite food, favorite drinks, favorite this, trips that you've gone on, stuff like that. Basically, it's sort of like a vlog, but after the fact a little bit. Just topic videos in general. And obviously, you don't want to have a YouTube channel where it's just everything, it's a free-for-all. You want your channel to be focused on whatever niche you're focusing on. And so I thought, I'm going to create Marco Dishes Out on Life. And it's great. I think that the first couple episodes were pretty good, although I had some problems starting up. Like, I remember the first episode where I couldn't even play any music, and that was like a huge failure. And I was like, oh, I had this plan, this schedule, and it just completely did not work. And it was very awkward. And then another reason I wanted to start doing the podcast is because I wrote a book about my life last year. It's called The Super Dumbass Director, a Fucked Up Memoir. It served as a supplement to the movie that I made last year, and I mean movie in quotes, because the movie was like a huge mess. It was all improv, it was all unplanned, unscripted, and it was just not very good in terms of, it doesn't represent the quality that I strive for in filmmaking. You know, when I make a movie, I want to have a planned thing, and I am making one right now. It's paused right now, but it had a plan, and I executed each and every scene in a very professional manner, very strict. Okay, I'm going to do this scene, no messing around or anything where it's like, oh, I'll film this and just come back later. No, I really committed to it. Super Dumbasses was like just all over the place of, let's just hang out today. Oh, you can't hang out today? Let's hang out next week. It just was not a good experience whatsoever. And I felt like the book about my life was a way for me to sort of control a narrative, to make something out of what happened with that movie. Because instead of making that movie, I should have been making this. I should have been working on this. I just didn't have the idea yet at that time, though. So I also thought it would be a good idea to do this podcast because I could talk about a lot of stuff that I didn't get to talk about in my book. Well, now that's kind of a little bit of a waste too, because I will be continuing to do this show, and I will be doing an extended cut of my book. It is going to be something completely different. It is going to cover every aspect of my life possible, and it is going to be in the style of a film script. It's going to have oil pastel pictures. It'll have some real pictures at the end too. and it will be called Little Contemplations of a Vast Imagination. That will be the title. I can't wait to keep on working on that, although it is a bit of a... It has started off as a bit of a headache, I'm not going to lie. There are some timeline issues of figuring out where do these random stories fit in, where should I introduce these people, these plot points. That's the thing about telling a story about your life or anyone's life. When you have facts, you can't mess around and make some sort of a non-linear thing where it's like, oh, let's go back to that later. Let's wait until I'm in my 20s to talk about something that happened when I was 5. You got to do it all in order, or if it's not in order, you have to do it in a very specific order on purpose. So it's a lot more different. It's an adjustment for sure. Luckily, with the new place, there are a couple of, there are pros and cons to this new place. And a couple of the pros are the Wi-Fi is extremely fast for uploading. And so the past couple of days, I've uploaded all the videos there, all of them. And it didn't take very long too, even on Wi-Fi or LTE. It did not take very long, and that was a huge sigh of relief, because since now I need time to work, I need time to rest, recover, and get over whatever happened from being in this house, this scary house with these fucking evil spirits. I need to recover from that, and so I have just this room pretty much, and I'm just going to be in there all day long, working, relaxing. I hope that it will be just a time of peace. It's sort of like a limbo period, in my opinion. Like this house, my first house, I would say represents hell. Because there's a lot of bad stuff that happened here. And if you talk to a medium, including me, apparently, that's another thing, if you guys didn't know, that I found out a couple of weeks ago. But a lot of bad stuff happened in this house due to what the land is and what is in the house. So there are a lot of bad things that, it is definitely like hell. And then this new place, I would say, is like limbo. And I hope that the next place will be like heaven or something. Like, I hope that that's how it works, because that's what it's shaping up to be. There's something really funny that I could mention right now, because I know that I've talked a lot about synchronicities, especially in my Sharon Tate brick video. I talked a lot about synchronicities in that. Well, what do you know? I got another synchronicity for you, and this one will make you go, at my new place, we're at this little place called Malibu Court. And of course, Malibu, that represents Malibu Barbie. That's the Barbie that they based the look off of Sharon Tate. And just the fact that we got a place in that specific area, it's a little complex. It has all these specific roads and streets and things, sections. The fact that we got the one with that is just, there you go. So, you see how weird this stuff is? I say that over and over again. Very weird. Another pro to this new place, I already talked about it. It's private pretty much. My room is pretty private. And so I'll just be able to work in there. I won't have to worry about being distracted, being, pressured by, listening to this blah, 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 blah. Because I have a really hard time working with, lots of noise. And so I really need to have, a quiet place to work, and that's what this place is. So I think that the whole thing of being in this place, I think the whole purpose is to just rest, recover, and get work done. I don't think it's to do anything else other than that. And of course, I'm going to be planning my film more. I'm going to try to do some stuff with that. It's really funny because I was talking about playing multiple characters. Now, technically, I could start like trying to find other people. But I really don't want to, for the most part. I started playing... I basically played 3 characters when I filmed all the shots that I needed to film here at my house. I played the 2 main characters whom I was going to play them anyway, and I played the father of the main character. And it's really funny because I think that they all seem like distinct characters. I really do think that from the choices that I made, that it feels like 3 different characters. So, in a weird way, I'm kind of happy that I didn't go to the trouble of looking for people to play them. Now, on a bad note, something did happen, unfortunately. You know, I gotta be honest, guys. Like, one of these days, I am going to do a whole show on the fraudulent actors on this acting website that's very popular. I'm going to do a whole show talking about my negative experiences with these people, with these fakes and frauds, with these wannabes and posers and fucking, future Me Too accuser type of people. You know, they're very, very creepy and weird, and they're very unprofessional. And the types of stuff that I've had to deal with from them, like the types of weird, like, discrimination where it's like, because I'm a man, they talk to me a certain way. It's really weird. It's just so, like, demeaning, and it's just, they're awful. I mean, these are some of the worst people I've ever encountered in history. And the types of excuses that they have, too, it is ridiculous. It's like if studios relied on actors, and I say actors because these people on there, basically the only time that they ever act is when they pretend like they're actors. Like, that's the only time they ever put on a fucking performance. But if all they had were these actors, no movie would have ever gotten made. Nothing. Because these people are fucking fakes and phonies. And I really despise them for, delaying me and for doing all this stuff. Because for a while I thought, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I've done something wrong sometimes. Like, maybe I've, oh no, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And it's like, it's just such an uncomfortable, like, weird thing. Ugh. That casting website is probably the worst website in history for all the fakes and frauds on there. So in terms of bad news, the actress who was supposed to play the main character, she had all this stuff about how she was going to come here and she was going to go to a music festival anyway. And, she seemed like she was really on board, and she was very nice and very, very cool. Well, she turned out to be another poser, I guess. She's a flake. And so, the thing is, you gotta spot this stuff early. And I should have spotted it because she sent me her audition like 5 days after it was due. And she didn't have any excuse either. I mean, it took like 2 seconds to do. And you can tell that she just did it in one take. And so it really should not have taken like a million fucking years. And that was a sign that she was not to be trusted. And I will say that is a good tip of advice, is that when you cast people and they're late in any manner, in any regard, do not hire them, because that is all they're going to ever do. They'll have some excuses here and there. I've had people years and years for failed projects I wanted to do in 2017. They messaged me in like 2020 and said, "Okay, Marco, I'm sorry. I'm going to have my audition to you in a couple of days." And then that's the last I hear. And then they're gone again. And it's sickening. It's like, this is not what I signed up to do when I said I want to become a filmmaker. Like, this is not the type of people that I wanted to work with. This is not the type of, I think it's horrible. So, that's a little tangent. As I said, I could do a whole series on the people that I've had to deal with from that website. So, this main actress, she did not end up showing up whatsoever. In fact, she sort of just, like, ignored what I said, and she sort of just, like, left it on red. And then another red flag was I said, can you please send me your sizes, because I need to, I'm going to the Goodwill bins today, and I need to buy your wardrobe. Because I was like, okay, I'm going to buy a cluster of wardrobe here, and then we'll see what we get. And then after that, I can buy some stuff online. We'll see from there. Well, I never got a response. Multiple times after asking on multiple different occasions, never got a response for her size. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, okay. And so, very, very disappointing, very frustrating, obviously, because it's just me. And so I'm just sitting here and, doing the best that I can with making this film. And then you have someone like this who, wastes my time, takes advantage of the fact that I'm nice, because if you're a man and you're not nice, they'll just pretend that you're something that you're not. They'll just, use that to their benefit and be like, "Oh my God, I'm a victim of something." They'll take advantage of that. And so I'm as nice as possible. I'm as kind and courteous as possible. And in return, I get shit like that. And so then I talked to her about, okay, I'm at this place and this is early October. And I told her, I'm at this place for until the end of the month. So, what we could do is we could remote film this. So you need to get this, this, and this, and you would film your parts of your scenes there. I would film the backgrounds to your scenes here at my house. And I would film my parts and then the other people's parts at this house too. Well, no response. No response whatsoever. Oh, well, she said, okay, that sounds good, but then no response after that. I guess she never got the materials, never got the supplies. And this is the sad part, is that she talked about how she got this promotion at her stage play job. It's some sort of a medieval dinner interactive theater thing. And she talked about how she got a promotion. And so you have to wonder if she literally just did this as a way to leverage with her boss to say like, "Oh, boss, somebody wants to put me in a feature film. Somebody wants to make me the lead of a film. Maybe you should consider promoting me, or else I'm going to go do that." I think that is an extreme possibility, unfortunately, and that's what I kind of feel like what happened, because as soon as she got this promotion, she's kind of acted like I don't exist, and so it's very bizarre. And then the last straw was when, and keep this in mind too, she had asked her job for weeks off in March. Because I have been talking to her since February, and she asked her boss, "Can I have a couple of weeks off in October and September, the end of September?" And he said yes. And then what happens? I guess that conversation never happened. Very, very weird. She got the promotion though. So the last straw, as I was saying, was there's a scene in the film where I shot it and I was editing it. I was in the middle of editing it. It was a long sequence. It involved eating something very gross, which made me want to throw up. Oh, God. I can't wait for you guys to see that. It was so gross. And this is the thing, too. I really try to make these scenes as authentic as possible. And so I wanted it to be like where you could tell that this was really hard to actually do. It was really, ugh. And it's not fake. It's not phony. It's real. And so I was really enjoying editing that scene. Well, at the end of that scene, this person, the main character, he's walking around his room. And he's reminiscing about the past, and he's reminiscing about this poem that the main female character wrote for him. Or she kind of just wrote it in general. And I wanted to have a voiceover of saying the poem. And so I sent the poem to her, and I said, can you please voice record this so that I can just edit it into the film? You know, it won't take very long, and because I need to edit this sequence, finish it, and then upload it to YouTube as a private video. Well, it's now like a month later, and she still hasn't done it. And the poem, it is not a long poem. It is like 10 lines. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, I'm trying not to sound like just a complainer, but it's like, come on. Like, this is not like professional behavior when you're working with someone in any way. So that really pissed me off. The fact that, like, I don't know. It feels like she had good intentions, hopefully, but she's just too busy or something. Just regardless, I just can't, like, work with someone like that. You know, I just can't have it be where I tell someone, okay, I'm going to need you to come here at this specific date, at this specific place, and we need to shoot this specific day, this specific place, from this time to this time, and then they don't show up, and it's like a month later, and it's like, oh, hey, like nothing happened. You know, like, I just can't work like that. I can't work with someone who does that. So she's going to be replaced. I've already been looking at a few replacements, but as usual, I'm having to deal with the typical. I mean, it is so predictable. It's not even funny. It is so predictable how these people are who are on this website. It's insane. It's kind of it's kind of cringeworthy. Like, sometimes I just feel like, you know, I really wish that we had, like, robots now who could just act for people, because I would have already had my movie made by now if that were the case, honestly. You know, like, the fact that I'm just still, I mean, it's almost been a year, and I've shot about 40% of the film all by myself. And this other 60%, I'm having to, like, delay and put off and have this whole setback because, well, number one, because of the piece of shit development company that decided to ruin everything because they want to have their little Stepford Wives community. But then number two, because of these actors who aren't even actors, you know, they're just fucking fakes and frauds. It really pisses me off, honestly. It's really another level of, like, just irritating. And the worst thing about it is that these people are so fake that they lie about they don't even have the common courtesy to be honest. You know, they're fake, they're deceptive, they say a bunch of bullshit about, they'll say, oh yeah, I'm really interested, and then a month later they'll say, oh, I actually can't because of this, and this, that, I already knew about a month ago when I agreed to it. Like, that's how these people are. They don't give you the truth. They're liars. And I guess it's apropos because they're professional liars. You know, they're adult pretenders. So, long story short, even though, as they say in Clue, too late, I'm going to have to recast that character, who I think I already told you guys I was going to recast her. It's just, it's such a grueling process. I wish I had a casting director, preferably somebody with, like, I don't know, mind-reading powers, so that they could get the job done while I could focus on, actually doing the movie. Because, as I said, I've already shot about 45% of it. So anyways, now for the main topic of this video, even though it's already 25 minutes, which I apologize for. It's just that I don't think you guys realize how many hours I've spent on that website looking for people, messaging people, waiting for people's responses, all this bizarre BS. And I never really talk about it. And so this is like the only place where I've said anything about this unprofessional behavior that I've experienced from these people. So, Halloween to me, I think, is my favorite holiday. Although I think that every holiday, the problem with them is that you always set yourself up for disappointment if you have these grand expectations for what these holidays should be like. Like if you think Christmas is supposed to be this, and this, and then it's not that, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. And I think it's better for these holidays to have the idea that you want to do something different and you want to have fun and you want to make sure that you're capturing the spirit of said holiday. So for Halloween, I really think of Halloween as, it's sort of like a coming out day, if that makes any sense. Not in a gay way, but it's for everyone who likes to have fun, who likes to watch horror movies, who likes horror characters, horror anything. It's a day for these people to just let loose and reveal that, I'm a horror fanatic, and that you like to have fun, you like to be these characters who are all fake, and, it's just for fun. And then, of course, you get the candy and you watch horror movies. It's a very fun holiday because it doesn't have all this stuff that Christmas and Easter has, where, at Christmas you have to get the tree, and, you have to do this, you have to get presents, you have to get your kids pictures with Santa Claus. With Halloween, what do? Well, it's mostly built around taking kids trick-or-treating. And then if you don't have any kids, it's just focused on you having fun, enjoying yourself at home with your family. And I keep repeating the word fun, because if you're not having fun on these holidays, and you're going to all this work and all this stress to do whatever needs to be done, it's not really worth it. Like, one of my favorite holidays is Christmas, of course. And I'll say right now, favorite holiday, Halloween. Least favorite holiday, Valentine's Day. Which, I hate Valentine's Day. I hate everything about it. I hate the people who celebrate it. I hate the people who invented it. I hate Valentine's Day with a passion. Especially what Valentine's Day has become nowadays. So, that got pretty dark really quick. I was like, yeah, I hate Valentine's Day. I swear, like, I was thinking, like, I would be perfect if they did, like, a Christmas Carol story during Valentine's Day. I would be perfect. In fact, that's a really good idea. Okay, guys, please do not reveal that to anyone. Oh my God, that would be a great idea. Because I would be the perfect, like, Scrooge character, because I just hate Valentine's Day with a passion. And I would wreck Valentine's Day shit. It would, okay, that's a good idea. Wow, I can't believe I just came up with that in the middle of just doing this stupid podcast thing. And I'm not saying it's the greatest idea. I know how that sounds. I'm sitting here saying, my own idea is a great idea. No, I'm just thinking out loud. So Halloween, one of the things about Halloween that I've come to despise is how other parties who don't like Halloween, they're trying to control it. And you've seen this with every facet of culture nowadays where the certain group of people, SJWs, they ruin everything. And they destroy everything. They make everything about them. And so you see it with movies where, we have to deem all these old movies problematic. And then we have to make these new movies that suck. And they're all just a bunch of epic failures. Because get woke, go broke. That's what happens nowadays. But these people, they've done something to Halloween this year that really pissed me off. And keep in mind, I did not like the show Dahmer with Evan Peters. I thought that it was a failure. I thought it was completely inaccurate, and that it's just yet another Jeffrey Dahmer show or Jeffrey Dahmer thing. And if you're going to do one, you need to make sure that it's accurate and that you're not leaving out all these facts so that you can manipulate events to your own agendas. Well, the people who made the show, they had all these agendas, and that was the point of making the show. So the show was built around agendas. Well, sadly, something happened after that was even worse than what the creators did, which was that these online sites who have no business telling people what to do, telling people what to dress up as for Halloween, they decided to restrict people from buying Jeffrey Dahmer costumes, like eBay. I just think that is the most despicable thing. These sites that they claim that they're so progressive, they claim that they're so open and free, and then they do this thing where they ban certain Halloween costumes because it'll offend people. Wah. And so I decided at that point, okay, well, for Halloween, I'm going to dress up as Jeffrey Dahmer. That's going to be for sure, because, I'm not going to put up with these fucking retards telling me, you're not allowed to dress up like that for Halloween. You can't buy that on eBay. So I got a Milwaukee Beer Company shirt, I got some jeans, and I got glasses, a wig, and a heart. And I was really excited because I was planning on doing a fun video with Safi, and we were going to, watch some movies and do commentaries and eat candy and stuff. Needless to say, all that did not work out. So let's talk about the worst Halloween, and let's talk about the best Halloween ever. The worst Halloween, I'm going to take a drink really quick. The worst Halloween was this year, 2022. We knew that we had to move. Well, we wouldn't have had to if I had sent that letter, which is funny because I swear to you guys, every time that I thought about sending that letter, the helpful spirits, the good spirits, they made sure that I didn't. And they knew that the letter was so good that if I had sent it, we would have still been living here, and it would have been like, oh wow, Marco saved the house. And it's like, no, it wasn't a good idea to do that. So we knew we had to get out, but we didn't know how terrible the whole experience would be. So on the night of October 30th / October 31st, early morning, I was already having a terrible time because I barely got any sleep, and I had to get up early so that I could pack stuff up, because I needed to take everything in my room so that I could take it there to have it to recreate the red room that now they're going to destroy, so that they can put their little Stepford Wives community on top, so that certain people in the community can have more convenience. So I had to take all this stuff from that room. I had to take all this stuff from my old bedroom. You guys saw all the stuff that I have. And I had to take stuff from downstairs, from everywhere possible. I had to take stuff. So it was a big pain in the ass. And I was up very early in the morning, packing stuff up, packing and packing. It was so unfun and so just horrible experience. And at the same time, I was trying to watch Casper Meets Wendy, which just made me think, like, of all the movies that I chose to watch on Halloween, I chose Casper Meets Wendy. And then I went downstairs, I had breakfast, and that was another thing, was that on Sunday, I didn't really have time to make pancakes. Well, I should have, because on Monday, somebody else had already packed up all the pancake stuff, and so I could not make pancakes once again. And I think I just had protein bars, and then we got to packing more, and it was so stressful and so terrible. And something else terrible happened the night before, which made the whole experience even harder. And that is, the night before, my cat Bernie, whenever he comes to sleep with me... Sorry, I just needed some fresh air. Whenever my cat comes to sleep with me, he always causes a problem. Because he gets in the bed, and he parks, like, in the middle of the bed. So it's really hard to go to sleep. I don't have enough of the blanket to move around. And, you have to move him yourself to make it comfortable. And it's so uncomfortable. He just parks there. He refuses to move. He sits there and smiles. He laughs about it. He's like, and, he doesn't give a fuck. And so I was sleeping there, and I could not sleep. I could not sleep on October 29th. It was terrible. And then finally he left. And another thing is, I can't sleep with the door open. I do not like sleeping with the door open. And consciously, it's because I like my privacy. But subconsciously, the whole time, it was because I knew that ghost would be watching me if the door was open. And so, all these things you can think about, like, what was the real meaning of that? What was the real purpose of that? What was the real thing behind that? Well, for that, it was because I didn't want this woman ghost to be watching me, this weird woman from the Civil War period watching me while I'm sleeping. So finally he left. I closed the door and went to sleep. Now that day was okay, I guess. We had some people over to help us and stuff, and that went pretty well, I guess. But then, at nighttime, that's when shit really hit the fan. The night of October 29th. Or wait. Okay, now I'm getting... Okay, the night before Halloween... The night before Halloween... we were packing up, and Safi kept on saying, Marco, we have to pull an all-nighter. We have to be up all night. Which was hilarious, because then we would just be up until 2 o'clock, and she'd say, okay, Marco, just go to bed. And I was like, Safi, you do realize what pulling an all-nighter means, right? Like, see, I've never pulled an all-nighter. Like, these times were the closest that I've ever been to actually doing that, and then she'd be like, okay, Marco, go to bed. So I was packing up in my old room, and I was watching the movie Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. I don't know why the fuck I was in the mood to watch Nightmare on Elm Street Part 6, which is one of the worst movies of the series. I don't know why I was in the mood to watch that. I was packing up, and I started to realize this house is going to do something bad. This house is going to do something because it's mad at me. It's going to cause me to have some sort of a problem. And they had already done that. Something happened to where I got really pissed off. And it wasn't me. Just like when I did that ritual in my old room, it wasn't me. I became possessed by something. And I yelled so loudly that I lost my voice for an entire, week and a half. And it was so strange because I had already seen visions of that in months before for my film. I had written this sequence, this dream sequence, which was based on a real dream that I had where I could not speak. And I was just standing there and I could not speak. It was horrifying. It was very, very scary. But then this other person could, and they were controlling me. It was very, very creepy. And it was very torturous. And it was a vision. It was a vision of this happening months and months later. And so I could not speak because of being possessed and yelling that loudly. And it was not a fun experience. I did not want to do that. It just all came out of nowhere. And that was one of the things that had happened. And I was like, wow, I wish that I could have protected from that somehow. And even though I was using this soap, which I do think that soap did a lot of good. I bought this soap that is supposed to banish evil, keep away evil spirits, all this stuff. And right when I started using it, I felt the effects that it had. And then when I wouldn't use it, I would feel the negative effects come in those pathways, which basically, wherever I wouldn't put the soap, that's where they would go. And so this one day where I didn't put the soap on my lower back, well, that whole day I had lower back pain. The whole day. The next day, put soap on my lower back, immediately felt better. And so I was in the middle of packing up the night before of Halloween. And the house was really mad. So I put my hand on my bookcase from my old bedroom. And I leaned over to pick something up. And I was reaching. And then suddenly the bookcase falls over and I feel like I'm pushed to the floor. And my right knee slams against the floor really hard. And it slices open. And so that is what the house did to me as well. It was very, very mad. And so, it was very hard to, work. And that's why packing up, it was even worse. The whole experience was that much worse. Was because of the house injuring me. And what do you know? I had not put soap on my knee that day. On my knees, on my legs, lower legs. So that's what happened as a result, is that they were able to have that occur. So I had a very hard time doing that. It was hard because we thought that we weren't even going to be able to come back. We've been coming back every day because legally in Ohio, you have the right to come back for your stuff as much as you need to, as long as you're not in the way of them tearing down the house. Which, honestly, guys, I gotta be honest, if there weren't any laws and regulations in the world, you're damn straight I'd be in the way of them tearing down the house, if you know what I mean. I'd be here with a paintball gun, shooting paintballs in their eyes so that they can't see. I'd be fucking throwing tuna at them and stuff like it's fucking Ernest Goes to Camp, where not Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Scares Stupid, where the kids are defending their treehouse, and they're like, no, you're not going to come here and destroy our treehouse we just built with the help of Ernest. So we've been coming back, but at the time, we thought we had to take it all at that time. So there was no time to watch any horror movies. There was no time to even enjoy Halloween, because we were spending the entire day of Halloween packing up, moving out. And then another problem came up when, oh shit, what the fuck was that? Okay, that was a spider. That was a spider. That was a spider. That was a spider. I'm done with this car right now. So guys, that was like a spider that looked like ginger ale, and it was right on my leg. So, I'm going to finish the rest of this video outside. I don't think it'll be that longer. So, the whole day we were spending packing up, and another problem came up when the moving vehicle came here, and the other person was so paranoid. They weren't paranoid about us getting our stuff, because this person didn't care about our stuff at all. What they cared about was how the movers needed pathways to be able to move their dolly around. And that the way this person talked, he made the movers sound like they're the most incompetent people on the planet, because of the way that he's like, they won't be able to move anything. They won't be able to move their dolly around. Like, it's like, are these movers fucking, like, handicapped? Like, are they not able to, like, move things themselves? Like, it's like, how could any moving ever get accomplished ever with these movers? Like, that's how this person made things sound. So, we had to, like, throw all of our stuff to the side to make these pathways. And at the same time, I had to just haphazardly pack up my stuff. And then the movers came here, and they were really, really nice, which was good because, you know, I was not in the mood to deal with some pompous-ass people who come in here and say, like, we don't have any room for the pathways. So what happened was, it was really hilarious, because this person also made the move much more difficult, because Safi told me all of the boxes in my rooms, if I pack everything up in boxes, they're going to take it. And then, when these people came into my rooms, what did this person do? Well, they said, no, they're not taking all these boxes. I beg you. I beg you, don't take all these boxes. And so, I basically just had to not let them take these boxes, even though I was going to need to take them anyways. So, that made things much more difficult. There were all these other items we should have gotten that they could have taken for us, like chair in the backyard, the couch in the front room we should have taken, some other stuff, big items that they could have carried. All of those items we left here because this other person was, like, deciding for us that we weren't going to have those things. And so they packed everything up, and that took a long time and everything, and then it all took about like 4 hours to move everything there. And immediately when we got there, it was confirmed to me, like, wow, this place is it's too small. It's just, there's no room. I'm never going to be able to recreate my red room here. Never going to be able to do any filming here, because there's just not enough space for 3 people's stuff in this tiny little place for a single person. It's really a complex that was designed for single people to live in. And when you jam 3 people and their stuff in there, it's really not a good look. It's just really not, it's not the best way of doing things. Let's just say that. But the thing is that my room is pretty nice, and so I went in there, and I thought, see, this, it's funny because this place, it has the most benefits for me. It has the most privacy in that room, and so I can just sit there doing work. I don't have to worry about people interrupting me because I can lock my bedroom door, which is something I've been wanting ever since I was a kid. And I'm telling you guys, I would have been much happier if I had a bedroom door that locks on all occasions. So that was a little bit of a okay. We didn't have any lunch though, I think, or I can't remember. I don't think we had any lunch though. We might have had something before the movers got here, but it just wasn't very good. And then, after the movers moved all the stuff, what did we have to do? We had to go back to the house. And it was already terrible because it was raining, it was pouring, and it was a thunderstorm. It was horrible. It was the worst ever. And we got here and we got some Wendy's. Well, they didn't have any ranch dressing, so I had to eat spicy nuggets with sweet and sour sauce. And the fries were okay, but the bacon was burnt because they were Baconator fries. And then the Frosty, as usual, was soupy, and it was just soup. So it was like a drink. So the dinner was not very good, and I sat there, I was watching Abbott and Costello meet the killers. That was kind of fun, but I was in so much pain because of that knee thing, because of the slash in my knee that I had to cover up with Band-Aids and shit, and it was not a fun experience. And then what happened after that is we had to pack up more and more stuff because we thought, oh no, if we don't get everything now, maybe they'll tear it down tomorrow. So I had to get a bunch of boxes from my fucking rooms. You know, the boxes that this person had told the movers not to take. And so a ton of shit that I had to put in the car, I had to put in both cars because of this person pretending like we weren't going to take our stuff, because that's totally what normal people do when they move, is they just leave all their fucking stuff behind. Like, no, sorry, never going to happen. So we didn't get everything, and it was kind of like, I hope tomorrow morning that it's still there and we'll be able to get it. And so it was kind of like, and we were up until 1 o'clock, and it was, ugh. Now here was the weirdest part. Okay, so I'm going to take another drink. The weirdest part was when when we took all the stuff at night, I had to take Bernie, the cat. And I picked him up, and I held him in the car, and we drove off, and he was very weirded out because I had never held him in the car like that. And so it was kind of like he thought he was going to die or something. And so we got to the place, and I put him in my room, and he stayed in my room, and he would not leave. And he sat on the desk, the computer desk, and he just sat there behind these boxes like he was hiding from something. And he was really freaked out, really scared. He wouldn't even meow. You know, he just sat there with a scared look on his face. and that was his Halloween night. I guess you could say he got his Halloween experience. He got his like haunted house experience. I can't wait what happens next year with him. When we go to another place and he'll be like, oh my god, no, it's happening again. So I sat there watching Abbott and Costello at the new place on my phone because we didn't set up the computer yet. And I ate some Oreos and I went to sleep. And that was, like, I gotta say, like, that is the worst Halloween. Like, you can't, there's nothing that could even compare and saying, like, yeah, oh no, that was worse. No, there's nothing that could be worse than that. So, that is the worst Halloween. Oh, and my Dahmer costume, I didn't even fully dress up. I didn't even put the wig on because the wig would have made packing too complicated, too hard to do with the wig on. And I'm getting some trash from the car. And so that wasn't fun. I didn't even get to dress up in my costume. And I didn't watch basically any horror movies except for Abbott and fucking Costello, which is a comedy. It was just everything you wouldn't want Halloween to be. Now, in contrast, my favorite Halloween was something where it actually started off like it could have been the worst Halloween. So, I think it was in 3rd grade, and what happened was we decorated the living room, and it was really nice. There were orange cobwebs everywhere. We had chips and this really cool frozen punch that Safi had made. It was really delicious. It was like sherbet punch. And we had Doritos. And I had rented a movie called Batman vs. Dracula to watch with the other people who had come. And then I sat there, and we also had a dirt cake with like marshmallow gravestones on top. But unfortunately, nobody ended up coming to this party. And so I was sitting there waiting for people to come because I had invited all these people, and nobody showed up. They didn't give their notice and say that they weren't going to be there. They didn't give anything. And, that's just to be expected with the people from around here. But then, at the last minute, someone showed up, and it was this cool guy who moved away the following year, moved to Arizona. And he showed up. He was the only one who showed up. And of course, it was because he was someone who wasn't from around here. So, he wasn't going to be like the people from around here and not show up like a fucking jackass. It's not like there were other Halloween parties to go to. It's not like, there were no other Halloween parties. So, he was the only person who showed up. And we had a lot of fun because we got to have all the Doritos, we got to have all the candy, all the dirt cake, all the punch. It was all really delicious. And we watched Batman vs. Dracula. No, actually, I had just rented Batman vs. Dracula to watch myself. But since a lot of the games required like more than 2 people, we just decided it would be fun to just sit there and watch Batman vs. Dracula. And so I think that's the best Halloween because it really turned out well. And see, that's the best type of holiday, is when you don't expect and then it turns out well anyway. The worst type of holiday is when you have these grand expectations and then they don't get fulfilled. So that was a very, very fun holiday experience. We both really enjoyed the movie, and it was probably the greatest party we had here as well in terms of Halloween parties. So I really love that Halloween the most. Excuse me, the most, not the most, like I just said. There are a couple of other Halloweens that I really liked too, but I will save those for an episode where we just talk about Halloween experiences, period. This was just intended to be favorite and least favorite Halloween. And I think that guy's name was Jacob too, so favorite Halloween was watching Batman vs. Dracula with Jacob. Least favorite Halloween was moving away from a haunted house on a rainy, dark day. So anyways, that's about it. In terms of November for this channel, I got a couple of fan requests for commentaries, and I also planned on watching these movies for the supposed all-night commentary night. That didn't work out at all, unfortunately. So I'm going to be reviewing those movies this month. And I also need to review a couple of other things. So this month is going to be kind of like a catch-up month where I catch up on reviewing things I was supposed to review and all these other things too. Because there really aren't that many new things coming out. Like there's Wednesday the show, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. There might be one movie or two, but other than that, there's really nothing coming out worthwhile. So that's what will be going on November. And also, Safi and I will be finally finishing the X-Files completely. Seasons 10 and 11 and the other movie. After that, Safi will be watching and reviewing Monk, and I will be watching and reviewing the rest of the seasons of American Horror Story, which I know that we had a very special fan, and she was very excited to see my thoughts on season 3, and so I will definitely be reviewing that shortly. So anyways, please like this video, comment, tell me what your favorite Halloween experience is. Tell me what your least favorite Halloween experience has been. And then please subscribe to this channel. And Marco dishes out on life. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.